That little punching bag Harry they used to have, they want that back, and Harry won't give them a second thought. All right, next tweet. Nearly 3 years of correspondence from 2018 to 2022 was requested, and messages between the office of the former Prime Minister and the office of the Duke and Duchess were released. But additional direct communication between Jacinta and Harry and Meghan themselves won't be released. Oh, this is very interesting. I bookmarked it, but I didn't expect this was an article. I'm probably gonna go in it and read the first few paragraphs. This is me responding to the caption. Okay, so there's me here. I still can't understand why and how she left her prime minister position for the two most laziest people in the world.
Mine's learning. How to do. Good luck with that.
I hope it makes some sort of a sense to me in the future. As of now, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Why? Okay, so one person, 2 people like it and 1 respond. Okay, she is suspected to have long COVID. She had 2 confirmed cases last year. She said in her press conference she does not have anything left in the tank, being too exhausted to do power job, but positioned to influence powerful with little work. Kind of seem like a fit. That's what she said, but why is she going work for these people? Work is work. You still have your mind, still needs to think. I think that's just an excuse. Okay, but whatever. Okay, the difference between work related and personal, that's how it interpret. Okay, so now these comments are making reference. I'll come back to the comments. Let's see what the article is all about. I'll leave the link in the description. I'm clicking on it because it is archive. Okay, former Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern keeps Harry and Meghan messages secret for now. Okay, 16 April 2023. So that was yesterday. Former Prime Minister Jacinta Ardern has decided to keep her messages with Harry and Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, secret, refusing an Official Information Request Act request to release them. But why do people want that information? Why are they trying? Maybe this is why they force her to leave her position to come and work with them, so hopefully she'll spill the beans. Maybe this is the reason why. I don't know.
The Herald has appealed that decision to the Ombudsman.
The chair of New Zealand's Republican movement, Lewis Holden, said the messages need to be released. Oh my God, these people are something. Okay, the chair of the New Zealand's Republican movement, Lewis Holden, said the messages need to be released, noting there is high public interest in knowing whether Harry and Meghan are using the influence of access afforded by Harry's birth appropriately. Okay. Harry and Meghan are using the influence and access afforded by Harry's birth appropriately. What is it? When they went over there, weren't they there for work related? They didn't leave the UK yet. They didn't leave, how do you call this? Okay. They didn't leave as working royal. Okay, so let's see this. Harry and Meghan were reported to have considered relocating to New Zealand. Oh my God, these people really want to go after them. So Harry and Meghan gonna have to, whoever they speak to, they're gonna have to be very careful. Oh my goodness. Harry and Meghan were reported to have considered relocating to New Zealand after stepping back as senior members of royal family. In Harry's memoir Spare, he confirmed the reports. Quote, "What if we could spend at least part of each year somewhere far away, beyond the reach of the press? The question was where. We talk about New Zealand," end quote, Harry said in the book. They opted to move to Canada, then California instead. This is God working in a mysterious way, because all of the countries that they say out loud, they know their critics know about it and it's a fear. But the only one they did not know, which they had to force, they could have assumed because this is Meghan's birthplace. Okay, It's the US. They did what they have to do. Okay, they opted to move to Canada and then California instead. Nearly 3 years of correspondence from 2018 to 2022 was requested by the Herald messages between the office of the former Prime Minister and the office of the Duke and Duchess were released. Oh my God, they probably prompted her to distract her because if she was keeping that information, okay, or I don't know if she has sole say on what to be released, so they remove her. Okay, this is purely my opinion throwing here. They remove her from her position as Prime Minister so that information could be released, so whoever take her place could release that information. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. However, the government acknowledges that there are additional communication between the then Prime Minister Arden and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex themselves, which it has decided to keep from the public eye. Okay. So what? Okay. So this is where I was saying here. There is, when Harry and Meghan went to New Zealand, they were working royal. So I would assume whatever that was said for the public as working royal can easily be released. That I would assume. Okay, just because it is Harry and Meghan, I could understand. But if they were talking in terms of things privately, remember Harry always wanted that line between private and public, okay, family and work. So maybe this is the part they don't want to release.
Chance my arm with a cheeky question. A bit like your mother, you are pursued every minute of every day by lots of people trying to take photographs, videoing, recording what you're saying, pushing. How can you possibly have
Selfies.
a private life?
Cheeky question. You're right, that is a cheeky question. But Andrew, to be honest with you, sadly, that line between public and private life is almost non-existent anymore.
But if they were talking in terms of things privately, remember Harry always wanted that line between private and public, okay, family and work. So maybe this is the part they don't want to release.
And we will continue to do our best to ensure that there is the line. You know, we are completely aware that we're in a very privileged position, and I will spend the rest of my life you know, earning that privilege and trying to bring a spotlight onto things and causes that really matter to me, and I hopefully matter to a lot of other people as well. Everyone has a right to their privacy, and you know, a lot of the members of the public get it, but sadly in some areas there is this sort of incessant need to find out every little bit of detail about what goes on behind the scenes. It's unnecessary. You know, I hope that people get to see me here in this Invictus role, you know, cracking on with the guys and mucking in and having a good time with them. And this is half my official role, but half my private role. This is what I enjoy doing, but the private life has to be private, and I hope people respect that.
Because if Harry was thinking of moving over there, that will mean this is private part. You understand what I mean? So, okay, let's see here. I'm starting to understand a little bit better here. However, the government, I'm reading that again. However, the government acknowledges that there are additional communication between the then Prime Minister Arden and the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and quote, themselves, which it has decided to keep from the public eye. The government said it was withholding the release of these messages, quote, to maintain the effective conduct of public affairs through the free and frank expression of opinion, end quote, a ground for withholding information under the Official Information Act. That action has a history of being unevenly applied messages between the public figure, like, for example, microbiologist Susie Wiles, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Wiles and Ashley Bloomfield, or even between journalists and ministers' offices, have been captured and released by the Official Information Act. It is not clear why Meghan and Harry's messages merit full protection. Okay, Arden was approached for comment through the office of current Prime Minister Chris Hipkin. The Herald inquired about the content of the correspondence and whether it was in text, WhatsApp, email, or whatever format. I don't know. It seemed like a lot of really high official people use WhatsApp. because I use it, I think, oh my god, I didn't even have kids yet. Did I have kids? No, I went to a party. When I first discovered WhatsApp, at that party, someone mentioned it to me. I downloaded on my phone. Okay, weeks after I downloaded, and I saw something that I did privately in the WhatsApp. I quickly deleted it and deleted the WhatsApp thing. I never saw it as a credible app, the same way that I see what's that, TikTok. But it seems like a lot of high officials have been using WhatsApp. Maybe they strengthened the privacy thing, but then again, you hear police officers in the UK using WhatsApp. I don't know. I don't find this. I mean, every social media platform have their weaknesses, but whatever. Okay, email or another format. Okay, Arden declined to comment ahead of the ombudsman decision. Holden said it was not appropriate for the messages to be withheld. Quote, there's a general protection for communication with the sovereign being kept secret. It's hard to see how the restriction, which itself is unjustified, could apply to this communication. Quote, we have no idea if the Duke and Duchess have lobbied our Prime Minister for access, immigration status, or anything else. They should have special protection just because they're members of the royal family, he said. I mean, if they are Commonwealth, I'm just saying, I do not know if New Zealand is Commonwealth, or then again, Meghan is not a citizen of the UK. Okay, I see where that is coming. I mean, don't they have, so even if Meghan is not even a citizen, if she stayed there for a couple, I don't know, I think there's some rules. I do not know in terms of New Zealand. There are some rules. If you stay for a couple months or whatever, you could fly back, because there's some agreement between the US and different countries when it comes with visas and all of that. Even if Meghan was not a citizen of the UK, which will easily apply to her as being part of the Commonwealth country, but with the US and New Zealand, I think there's some agreement. You know, you could stay over there for a couple months and fly back to your country and then fly back again. Okay, but anyway, I do not know. So there's more to it. I almost finished it, but you could finish it yourself. But these people, I think they want to know more about private things that was said. If things were discussed in terms for the monarchy, I don't care. But if things were discussed in terms of privately, where Meghan and Harry wanted to find ways to find their privacy thing here, this should keep away from the public.
Sadly, that line between public and private life is almost non-existent anymore.
Alright, so let's see here. Now let's go back to Twitter and read the comment. Now that we have a somewhat a better understanding of what this is all about, maybe some of the comments will make more sense to us. Alright, mine have absolutely nothing to do with the article, but I was commenting on this. Okay, in terms of why the Prime Minister left being a Prime Minister to work for Harry and William. I mean, not Harry and William. William and Kate. Alright, the difference between work related and personal. That's how I interpret it. Okay, all of this is to make people scared to have any communication relationship with the couple, isolating them from any high profile individual or organization. It's one of the key objectives. This verify of everything they do is very crazy and intrusive. That was the whole plan for taking the HRH out. They taking away from them. They still are Harry and Meghan still have the HRH title, his and her Royal Highness or something like that. I think that's what it stands for. But the thing is that they cannot use it for commercial purposes. But Harry is Harry, Prince Harry is Prince Harry, Meghan is still Meghan because she's married to Harry. She's still Princess Meghan, and they still haven't remove their title as Sussexes. They could still use that, but the HRH thing was for commercial purposes. They thought just because they're HRH or the royal family or whatever, doors will open for them. So they wanted to close as many doors as possible, make them suffer, and then for them to crawl back to them for help, for financial help, all sort of things. But now that Harry and Meghan are financially independent, they do whatever it is that they want. They don't need the royal families. That pisses them off. They still want to close more doors. Meanwhile, they don't think work ethic. I'm gonna put that clip video that I have of Mark Cuban.
Harry and Meghan are incredibly marketable. I'd call them the new young Obamas. They're going to make an ungodly amount of money, and you know what? They literally could become billionaires over the next 20 years. If either of them came on Shark Tank, I wouldn't even wait for them to pitch. I'd be like, I'm in, whatever you want, yes, because they are so marketable. It'll be so easy to develop products and projects for them, with them, and around them. It'd be yes. Can you hook it up?
Mark Cuban, where any business people who wants to make money wants to do work with Harry and Meghan. Okay, it's not because of the HRH or the Royal Highness or all of this nonsense that those people make people want to believe this is what makes Harry and Meghan so successful. If this was the case, how come William is not successful? How come Kate is not successful?
Mine's learning. How to do. Good luck with that.
Whatever it is that she can even do a freaking speech. You don't think that it's Harry and Meghan's mind and creativity and all of those that make them be successful? Okay, begs the question whether Billy, Prince William, is an honest broker and appointing former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern as the head of her. That's what I think. Now I understand. When I wrote my comment, I didn't know the full story, but now I'm starting to understand. They probably pressure her, or maybe there's something that she did they didn't like, and then they scare her off and they make her leave that position to come and work for her, and then to scoop stories out of her to find out. Now if they cannot get it from those Information Act, now that I read part of the article, maybe through conversation. When you talk, like I said, when the same way that I said with the Hub Community Kitchen, when Meghan was cooking with them, I said it in one of those videos. Maybe Meghan was talking about her mother to the ladies and said, my mother used to do this and that and that. And then you have Miss Dovia came during the unveiling of the cookbook. Okay, so those type of conversation that I'm talking about, when you're not really thinking of anything beyond. Okay, just having a regular conversation. So they took her out of Prime Minister, and then she actually gave that up. It's not like they appointed her. The people vote for her to be in that position. I don't know why she left it and then to go work for them. And this is what my comment was making reference to. Now, reading this comment, I'm starting to believe they made her, or they probably forced her, in my humble opinion, to leave that position so they could scoop information out of her. And then that also make the point of the other lady who had that communication position to leave, because they want to replace her for that. So it's all calculated. I don't know. My goodness. Whoever those idiot was giving those royal family stupid guidance to get information out of, This is what ruined them. If you watch video number 1, which was started at 11 p.m. last night, I said some stuff about the regarding the abolish the monarchy and all of that. That's what pretty much took all my time. Okay, let's read this. Begs the question whether Billy, Prince William, is an honest broker and appointing former Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern as the head of Earthshot. Is it because she is a true environmentalist, or does he want those messages to leak to the British media? Long road to imagine rehabilitation. Yep, that's what I think. This is that. I think this is that. Why not ask for William and Kate correspondence? He has been in contact with her for his Earthshot. Also, wasn't New Zealand being talked about in 2018 when it was torn out? Can she talk with them on a private, friendly level about everyday stuff?
Sadly, that line between public and private life is almost non-existent anymore.
Let's see here. There's one comment. Exactly. And Billy is actually a government employee. Alright, let's that. Each communication between Jacinda and Harry and Meghan, depending on what is said, can be turned into a news story. That's right. They don't have information. This is the thing. They don't have Harry and Meghan to and the UK to make up stories. So now they want to create nonsense. How desperate these tabloids are now that they have no more access. That's exactly that. They have no more access, or perhaps, as someone suggests, William is involved, wondering if there's info he can leverage. What happened is that the tabloid, remember, they promised the tabloid that Meghan will not sue them. Okay? Meghan will not sue them, so they went on that nonsense, leaking information about Meghan, where Meghan almost lose her mind over there.
You are making people want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You are making me scared. Right? And like that night, to be up and down in the middle of the night, looking down my hallway, like, are we safe? Are the doors locked? Is security on? Is everything? That's real. Are my babies safe? And you've created it for what?
So now that Meghan took steps to sue them and she won and they had to pay her, they pissed. They want their money back, in my humble opinion. So they putting pressure, and all this is fully my humble opinion. I'm sitting at my house just reading between the lines.
I'm gonna just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
Okay? So they're putting pressure on William. I think you better give me some scoop to make money. Okay? That money they pay Meghan.
How did you find a way to run from the city of the sun? You could have stayed. It's only over when the day is done. I never knew you was a runner, yeah. I mistook you for a son. It don't matter what we think when it's all over. 'Cause this is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice and raise your... This is our last chance to leave it all behind. Raise your voice, raise your power, yeah.
I love good news. Love good news. I just love good news. Love good news. I just love good news.
Raise your power, yeah. Raise your power, raise your
Zorro snap in Z formation.
They pushing, give me some scoop, go get this. They pushing him to get information. I don't know. This is the way that I see it. Okay, what does it matter? They never moved there. So William hired Jasenka to push for access. It seems because it's weird how this has come up now. That's what I think. And that was my question from the day one when I saw that video where she's leaving her position, and I was very sad about it because she did such a good job with the COVID thing. Okay, kept it very low in her country, and I reported it and so many other videos on PYTE. And then when I saw her quitting, I was like, what did she do? Why? So something must have happened. And I think that person who comment under my comment here, someone who's trying to throw me off. Who is that? Okay, this is a squatty telling me she had confirmed case of. Okay, this is the true thing here. They want information from her, or at least if the prime minister have power to hold those information, so they remove her from that position and then put someone who will be more happy to release that information. Do as the crown says. Okay, why do they want them? Okay, how about releasing all correspondence between King Charles III and Bin Laden family? If they are going to set precedent by this action, then be prepared for all of it. That's the thing. They're creating problem. Okay, what goes around comes around. Just wait. Sooner or later, some non-Murdoch newspaper will file FOIA, request Chucky and Willie communication. Okay, clickbait for engagement or this public. Can anyone file to view? There's the thing. They're creating problem for themselves. They're focusing that tunnel vision. If they were honest broker themselves, they do things according to the rules of law or whatever, they won't have to afraid of. But they've done so many shit on themselves, and then they're going after Harry and Meghan. They're creating a kind of worm for themselves. All right, let's read what's there and then move on. Now I'm starting to understand why she quit her position. They want to get information about Meghan. Okay, I read that. Okay, same argument made for every senior royals and royal adjacent for every interaction they've had with every public and government entity from Commonwealth to Kingdom, come starting with the guy with the suitcases full of cash. There's that. Might have to postpone coronation to get through all those skeletons. Okay, the royals have not yet learned that they teach people how to treat them. I can't wait for the barrage of FOIA requests targeting their correspondents all over the world. There's that. They keep poking. That's it. They keep poking the bear. Keep harassing Harry and Meghan for sport. Okay, all I have to say, 400 pages of a best-selling memoir haven't been published yet. Harry said if he tells it all, the family relation will be over. It appears Charles and William want to learn the hard way. Probably Murdoch's doing that. Yes, I do think so, because they're going through some stuff right now, and Harry's calling them to court. They want information to somewhat blackmail him. I don't think Harry cares anymore. Whatever happened happens. And then that lawsuit Meghan won, the money they had to pay, all this is playing part of it. Okay, let's see here. I find it interesting they use the excuse of the royal family, but they have no request for the so-called working royals. It's their continuous obsession with the Sussexes and wanting to pry into their lives that is the motivation. This isn't about public interest or taxpayer. Okay, what do they think they'll find? Seriously, better be careful or they may get evidence of something that might backfire. Okay, they didn't move to New Zealand, they moved to California. They didn't start a business in New Zealand. What kind of influence are they looking for? That's a very good point. I like that one. Was a similar request made of Willie, Jasenka, and Earthshot communication? All right, why will they be entitled? Okay, why will they be entitled to this? Just because they're famous? So any famous person she communicate with, we subject to the same inquiry? So why isn't he asking for correspondence with the Welses as she is working with them in a large capacity now in a minor capacity years before? All right, request why, who, and why. All right, so let's move on.
So another thing they have to take into consideration is that when Meghan was in the UK, she thought, okay, she thought she was a working royal. But the royals, the firm, did not consider her as a working royal. So apparently she was, if we were to go in that direction, she was accompanying her husband to the engagement, right? So any conversation she has with Jacinta, it's probably private. She was a private citizen. The firm did not help Meghan with her mental health because they didn't know how to deal with it because she wasn't a working royal. So I don't know what they're looking for. Another lawsuit? And things were said in court. They have documents to back up some stuff. So they're looking for more trouble, I think, if you look at it in that direction.
I spend a lot of time on this. Wow, I didn't expect to. I don't want to create a third video. I need to start editing already. Okay, Carrier Tubman, day 2.